Why isn't Rory meeting with the media when he has a bad round?
You know what's sad, Dan? I forget the night we had dinner. I'm being all kidding aside. We had dinner one night and we were talking about this at dinner, and it's still going on. I think he's really bothered by what happened at the PGA Championship when the USGA and the PGA of America basically threw him under the bus and leaked out that his driver had to get taken away. So did Scotty Scheffler's, by the way, Dan, and he went on to win, but his name wasn't leaked out. Rory's was. He had just won the career Grand Slam. I think there's a motivation factor going on right now that he's trying to find that gear again. His whole life was geared towards doing something. Now that he's done it, he's naturally kind of taken his foot off the gas a little bit. I think he's upset that his name was leaked out. He didn't like the way the media handled that. The media actually went forward with that as opposed to perhaps going to him off the record and saying, hey, I just found this out. What would you like me to do with it? Because I have to go report it, that kind of thing. And I also think he's not playing very well, Dan, and I don't think he likes talking about that too often. But I got to tell you, as much as I love Rory, I think you have to be professional and you have to speak when you win and when you lose. Jack Nicklaus was the greatest champion in the sport, Dan. He was also the greatest loser in the sport. And I think he needs to man up and speak to the media because you don't want them directing the narrative. You should direct the narrative. And I think he's making a mistake. And I hope he gets back and starts to do what he normally does. Because, by the way, Dan, he's so great with the media.
I know.
He needs to do it. It's not professional.
Because Jack won 18 majors. I think he finished runner-up 19 times.
Yeah, 19 times. And by the way, Rory is such a good guy, and he's so smart and insightful, and he's fabulous with the writers. He's fabulous on podcasts. He's fabulous on shows like yours and on TV with us. You know, I hope he gets back to doing it regularly because he's so good at it. But right now, he's in a little bit of a funk with the media, and he's not giving the media what it wants. And by the way, Dan, one last thing on that. He doesn't owe the media. You and I talked about this. No athlete owes the media anything. They're right when they say that. They shouldn't say that out loud, but they don't owe the media anything. They do owe their fans and their sponsors everything. The media just happens to be the conduit between the athlete and the audience, whether it's sponsors or whether it's fans. And I think that players need to get out of the realm of thinking we owe the media something. We owe the fans and sponsors something. The media is just the outlet between the two parties.
Didn't Rory make you cry?
He did make me cry at Royal Portrush in 2019. My mother, I'll tell you a quick story. My mother had just passed away. And, you know, you hear from a lot of people, you hear from a lot of family and friends, clearly, you know, when your parents pass away or someone close to you passes away. In this case, it was my mom. We go to Northern Ireland, and I had never heard from Rory. I hadn't seen Rory since my mother had passed away. It had been about 3 weeks. And he missed the cut at Royal Portrush in his home country, which had all the pressure on his shoulders and his back going into that week. And right before we were about to do the interview, on Friday, after missing the cut, after all that emotion from him, he literally looks at me. Tommy Roy's in my ear going, okay, 30 seconds out. I said, great. And Rory looks at me and goes, hey, I didn't want to text you and I hadn't seen you. Puts his hand on my arm and says, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. I wanted to make sure I told you that in person.
Oh.
And yikes, Dan. I mean, we were not on the air, but I was like, whoa. I backed away from the camera, hit the talk back button and said to Tommy, I said to Tommy Roy, I'm going to need a minute. He goes, no, we got to get to you. And I go, going to need a minute. And I looked at Roy and went, you got to be kidding me. And it was a very, very nice moment. It gives you a little bit of insight as to what type of human being he is, which is why we all want to hear from him, whether he wins or loses. But yeah, it was a very, very nice thing. He definitely got me. Not many people get me, but he got me hard there.